is LinkedIn still worth it, or has it just become a waste of money? So that's the debate that we had in our Skool community. So by the way, if you didn't join it already, the link is in the description. It's completely free for now, and we try to build the #1 community of recruiters trying to grow their recruitment business and to attract clients predictably without call spam or burning out. And so we are supporting each other, sharing insight tips. And here we were discussing about whether or not LinkedIn is still a must for us recruiters, and if not, what are the alternatives? So if we take Iman's message here, so basically what he's saying is that lately, it's been in recruitment for a while, and lately what he can observe is that it's really difficult to get responses from clients and candidates because they are just spammed, okay, first of all. And also, second of all, the algorithm is really pushing shitty contents, people sharing their lives, etc. So he's wondering if it's still worth it because it's pretty expensive and also it's really time consuming. But if we don't use LinkedIn Recruiter, what are the other alternatives? So this is what we're going to see here. So first of all, I think it's important to clarify what are we talking about, because when we are talking LinkedIn Recruiter, we have to remember that we have several options. There are several licenses. You have the LinkedIn Recruiter and the LinkedIn Recruiter Lite version. So if you compare pricing, you can see that there is a huge gap, a huge difference, because the LinkedIn Recruiter, the one we were talking about, is very expensive. It's around 10K per year, okay? So I researched on Google before the video. They were saying it's between 5 to 10K. But honestly, I don't know any recruiter paying only 5K for LinkedIn Recruiter. It doesn't exist, even for solo recruiters. Okay, it's quite expensive. Usually it's around 10K. So between 800 and 900 per month. And if you compare with the Recruiter Lite version, it's only $170 or $1,680 per year. So the price gap is really insane. And obviously, the reason behind is that you don't have the same features and functionalities. But what are the main differences? So if you look at LinkedIn Recruiter Lite, the main differences are, first of all, there is no ATS CRM integrations. So you cannot connect LinkedIn directly with your external tools. So for example, your ATS or your CRM. Also, there is no bulk outreach. So messages must be sent one by one, which makes scaling outreach impossible if you want to use mass outreach. But first of all, it's not necessarily what's recommended. And second of all, there are alternatives if you want to do so. Also, you have a much lower email limit. You quickly run out compared to corporate, but you can always buy more emails. And also, very importantly, as you know, your credits won't be deducted as long as the candidate answers your message, whether it's a negative or a positive answer. So if you have a decent response rate, 50 emails per month, it's still okay, honestly. And if you want more, you can buy more. Also, you will have fewer search filters. So Recruiter Lite doesn't give you the advanced targeting options available in corporate. From my experience, it's not big of a deal, honestly. What is a bit more annoying is that you no longer access to open to work. So you can only see the public green banner, but not candidates who mark themselves open confidentially. And most of them do. And that one is a bit annoying because I remember that last year, it was still available with the Recruiter Lite version. So it's a bit of a pity that they changed that, but it shows that a lot of people, a lot of recruiters were happy with the Recruiter Lite version. The last important aspect is the data ownership. Okay, so as you can see here with the corporate version, with the LinkedIn Recruiter, so recruiter data is owned by and stays with your company. So it means that if you have, for example, 5 team members and one is leaving the team, you will keep the data because the LinkedIn profile is yours, the LinkedIn account, not profile. It is his profile, but the LinkedIn Recruiter account is yours. It's the company property. It's not the case with the Recruiter Lite version. So it means that if a recruiter is leaving the company, you will lose the data as well. So all the candidates that he has contacted, the messages that he sent, the shortlist, etc. Okay. And lastly, it's way more limited in terms of team collaboration and reporting functionalities. That being said, what we can conclude based on this information is that if you don't have a team and you don't work more than 10 jobs per month and you make less than 2 deals on average per month, so less than 20K, to me, Lite is really enough. So I agree with you guys. The LinkedIn Recruiter version, the corporate version, is very expensive. Prices will increase. It's expected that it will increase of around 30% in the next 5 years. So it's really a lot of money. But on the other hand, I'm not sure you need it. If you are a solo recruiter, most probably you absolutely do not need it. That's really important to understand that. And this is what we're going to see. So you have, if you don't want the LinkedIn Recruiter version, I would recommend those two alternatives. The first one is that you go old school. Okay, you will see that there are many recruiters, especially those who didn't start with LinkedIn. They are still very good to find candidates with the LinkedIn free version. They use Boolean searches, they use X-ray searches with Google, they use external job boards, the cheap one, and they are still able to find their candidates. Personally, it's not my thing. Okay, I've started the job with a very good database in the agency I was working for at that time. And after that, I relied mostly on LinkedIn because it was easier. So I'm not that guy that's going to go on Google with very complex Boolean searches or X-ray searches to find, that candidates that you are so excited to find, but that you could find way easier using LinkedIn. So that's the way I work. But I can understand that, first of all, some people are very good at this. So just leverage your strength. But also in some market niches in industry, it might be enough. So just do it. The second alternative is to go with Recruiter Lite, which is only, as we saw, $170 per month. So it's quite affordable. And you combine it with another tool to compensate the limitation that you have. So for example, I like Jarvis. Why do I like Jarvis? You will see. So this is also available in the Skool community if you want more information, but why I like it very much is because you are able to import contact directly from LinkedIn. So here you are on the Sales Navigator Pro version. It's not even LinkedIn Recruiter, but I made a search and now I want to import a contact and look at this. They are already here in Jarvis, my CRM, my ATS. So it's really helpful because you can use LinkedIn to feed your own database. And as you can see, you have a lot of filters, a lot of similar filters that you can find on LinkedIn, because once you have imported those contacts, it's automatically updated with their live profile on LinkedIn if they change up, etc. And you can use those filters to make a search within your network that you now have on Jarvis, your CRM ATS. And you can use it as well to send bulk messages if that's something that you want, to send sequences, to send emails, and you need a CRM/ATS anyway. So for me, that's a perfect combination. Jarvis or any similar tool, I know them personally and they are good people, really. I really recommend their tool and you can contact them. But, any other tool doing the same thing, that could work as long as you are able to import your contact list from LinkedIn directly into your CRM in one click, that you are able to run searches with similar filters, that you are able to message those contacts. So both candidates and clients, it works for both, obviously, with bulk messages and sequences, and that you are able to use, as a consequence, the Recruiter Lite version or even Sales Navigator Pro that is even cheaper to feed your own database. So you are less dependent on LinkedIn. You could use your LinkedIn license to feed and to build a huge database for 3-6 months, and then you can work with that. And as I said, if you are just starting out, I would recommend you to go with a cheaper alternative. You can take Sales Navigator Pro. With the example that I've just shown you on Jarvis, it was from Sales Navigator Pro. So Sales Navigator Pro is even cheaper, and you can use it for both get clients and get candidates because you have similar filters. You can filter with keywords, with skill sets, with the region, with the experience. So many filters that are extremely effective to build both candidates and client lists. So what would I recommend you to do? Honestly, personally, what I think, I understand that it seems expensive, but to me, definitely the LinkedIn Recruiter, the corporate version, is very, very expensive. I never use it myself as a solo recruiter, never, because I don't find the added value. To me, Recruiter Lite is way sufficient. And if you combine Recruiter Lite with Sales Navigator Pro, to me, it is totally worth it. And it's only a bit more than $250 per month. So guys, you have to remember that we are talking about recruitment here. With a single placement, you can make 15K per month. If your investment is only 269, I think that's really it is worth it. And LinkedIn Recruiter Lite is really enough for most recruiter. And as I said, it's pretty cheap compared to the money you will make with those two licenses. And if you cannot afford both, you just start with Sales Navigator Pro. It's only $99 and you combine it with a tool like Jarvis. But if you look at the bigger picture, guys, even if you have LinkedIn, both the Lite, the Recruiter Lite, and Sales Navigator Pro, that you have a CRM and that you have your professional email address, it's still less than $500 per month for a 15K per month recruitment business. Imagine the margin. It's absolutely insane. Recruitment is so profitable. Even if you add more tools later on, because you have more budget, you made a first deal. You add licenses for softwares like Loom, Lusha, Clay, or whatever you want. And you have a budget to sponsor ads to attract more candidates. You will still be below $2,000 per month. Even let's say if you don't have a good percentage, a good fee, you go with 15% and you only make 10K because you are just starting out, you are not very confident. And you spend more money because you are not very good at finding candidates yet, and you spend 3K in total. You increase your ad budget. Guys, it's still 7K profit. It's insane. It's really a lot for somebody that just started a new business 3 months ago. And if, like myself, you also want to be a nomad recruiter and travel the world, and you have an LLC in the US or a limited company in the UK, those 7K, it's almost fall in your pocket. You barely pay any taxes on that. So my personal opinion is that, except in some niches, LinkedIn remains a must for me. But I believe that Sales Navigator Pro can be enough in many scenarios, and especially if you are starting out and it's only $99. Also, remember, keep this in mind, it's a monthly subscription. It means that, for example, you could use the LinkedIn Recruiter Lite version for 3 months in a software like Jarvis. You can import thousands and thousands of candidates and then you can stop it. That's the same on the client side. Okay, so remember that it's a monthly subscription. So both Sales Navigator Pro and Recruiter Lite, you don't need to keep them forever. You can use them for 3 months and then stop it for 3 months. So you have that flexibility. So be smart and use a CRM where you can import LinkedIn search list. So for example, Jarvis, as I said, so you limit the need and use of LinkedIn and you are not dependent, because LinkedIn will keep increasing its pricing and most probably they will also remove more features from the LinkedIn Recruiter Lite version. So you don't want to be dependent. You don't want to be in a situation where the Recruiter Lite version is not enough and you will regret it. You will be like, okay, it was not that bad for the price. Create a solid database now so you have alternatives if in 2 years, for example, it becomes too expensive to use LinkedIn Recruiter, even the Lite version or the Sales Navigator Pro. But anyway, if there is something that you shouldn't do, for sure, is that you shouldn't try to save money on this if you are already struggling. Okay? If you are already struggling to get your first clients, to make your first deals, don't make your life difficult. Okay? LinkedIn is here to make your life easy. Just use it, but use it smartly. You don't need to spend 10K a year to be successful as a solo recruiter. That's really bullshit. The solo recruiters that I know using the LinkedIn Recruiter version are really the minority. Most of them, they are either using Sales Navigator Pro or Recruiter Lite, and they see long-term and they build a solid database. And for a lot of them, they don't need LinkedIn anymore. They just have the free or the premium version that costs $30 per month. And talking about Sales Navigator Pro, if you want to learn how to build a client pipeline without cold spam or chasing dead leads, if you want to know how I build client lead lists and how I reach out to them and how I convert them into clients, DM me signals on Instagram and I share my exact system. How do I track signals in a way that allow me to predict jobs before they go live? So I can be first, I don't have competition, I can get maximum commitment, I can work on exclusivity and retainer. Send me the word signal on Instagram. My account is just here and I will send you the free video. In the meantime, do not forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and I see you in the next one.